So let's get started. I'm very happy for you to join us today. We're going to discuss a topic that's dear to marketing and sales professionals. We're going to look at ClicData for HubSpot. I'll be co-hosting this webinar with our specialist Anna Walter. And so we're gonna just get started slowly with a few technical checks. If you have any video audio troubles, please don't hesitate to raise your hand, which allows me to introduce the chat. You have a chat that is accessible for the whole length of our webinar today. You can please share your comments, any questions, any things that you'd like to express. I'd be more than happy to help with the chat. We're gonna keep the end of this webinar just focused on your comments and questions, especially to answer your questions. So, but you can please share them as we advance, so that you don't forget them, and we'll tackle them towards the end of this edition. It's a chance as well to share some of your feedback with the rest of the group. Don't hesitate to react as well to what's going on. If not on the chat, you can also use our Twitter channel. It's --ClicData webinar. Today's agenda. So we're going to look at why ClicData makes sense when you use HubSpot, and what can ClicData do to your HubSpot data, and what can that help you with leveraging all of the HubSpot goodness in the shape of dashboards. So we're going to specifically take a look at what visualizations make sense, so that you can track what you need to track as marketing and sales professional, maybe meaning specifically what's going on with your funnel, marketing first and sales as well, all those different conversions at each of the critical steps of the funnel. Related to that, obviously, the return on investment, to find out which data sources are actually bringing you the most business. And we'll have the chance of taking a quick look at the actual technology, a quick demo by Anna, to see how you can actually put that into motion by connecting HubSpot to ClicData. I'm just going to share with you a few words about ClicData. It may be a brand that you discovered today. So we're a data platform. We're a business intelligence platform. And that allows you to not only have visualization, but also great integration with a bunch of different sources, and all the tools that you need to bring those different types of data together in the most efficient manner. So efficiency is what our customers tell us about. Efficiency in terms of implementing those data projects and those KPI projects, because everything is brought together, because it's 100% cloud, and all you need to do is create an account, and boom, you have everything you need to work. Efficiency also in the performance of the reporting, because the data sits right next to its visualization, and efficiency as well. And that takes me to the next element. Because you actually get to bring all of that data together and mix and match and measure what's happening, especially when you bring some of the financial streams into your sales and marketing mix. You have a clear idea of what's happening in terms of revenue impact. So those are just a few examples of visualizations. You're going to see a few more typical to your case, but it's also to maybe highlight one of the value added. You do have some reporting within HubSpot, but it's very standardized. Each CRM, for that matter, includes a little bit of reporting. So one of the things you're going to get to do by pulling that data into ClicData is that you're going to be able to really customize all of those indicators the exact way you want. So that's for the visual aspect of things. The second benefit of ClicData on top of HubSpot is that you're going to have one single source of truth. That means that not only you're going to be able to pull your HubSpot data, but you're going to have a chance to enrich that data with additional sources that you'll need to have one view of what's happening with your marketing and sales activities, right? And the last thing that I wanted to share with you before we get into the heart of the matter with our expert here is how easy it is to share those dashboards with ClicData, and not just sharing as a recurring report type of sharing, but also alerting subject key expert matters when somebody relevant is going on the dashboard. It could be reaching an objective. It could be a particular channel that's going above what's been planned in terms of budget. It could be anything that you want. You get to go notify and poke the person who's in charge of potentially adjusting, stopping, or amplifying, depending on whether it's good news or bad news. So all of that said, I'm handing over to Hannah, who's gonna walk you through some of our HubSpot use cases.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. Maybe, Ellen, can you just confirm? Yes, cool. Thank you. Great. So I'm happy to present a few use cases that we put together with our customers. So the first example is mostly about good visualizations of the marketing and sales funnel and the conversions. So the example I'm talking about here is with our customer WorkLife. So I'm gonna quickly introduce the company. WorkLife is actually a network of workspaces in the UK. They operate across 11 spaces in London, Manchester, Reading, and they're growing. And they manage about 4,000 members, which go in and out daily. And this is a company. This is actually they are taking their decisions always based off data, and they use many different tools to manage all the aspects of the business. And one of the key added value that they saw in ClicData was to actually integrate all these different sources into one place in order to build custom reports for the whole company. So every team at WorkLife does use ClicData and ClicData dashboards, and we work closely together with them to build up these dashboards and visualizations. So they use HubSpot for their CRM platform. So that's the example I'm going to show you today. First of all, let me introduce quickly Sarah, who is the head of marketing at WorkLife. So she put together a few lines to explain how ClicData helped her. She says ClicData helps us to visualize our marketing data better. Being able to pull in multiple data points like budgets and contracts, along with HubSpot marketing and sales data, allowed us to analyze marketing ROI much more precisely. Plus, ClicData has the added benefit of being able to visualize multiple data points in a single view and over a long period of time, making it possible to see more information in fewer dashboards and reports. So we built some dashboards with the marketing team. I'm going to show you a few examples here. The first one here is it's all about custom visualization of the sales funnel. So as you can see here on the screen, we have 3 different funnels. So the first one is a subscriber funnel, meaning we're looking at the funnel where prospects start as a subscriber in the life cycle, and then they go to leads, to MQL, SQL, and customers in the end. And we calculate the conversion rate between each step. The second funnel is the funnel where people actually start as leads, and an MQL funnel, which is people starting at MQL stage, etc., etc. So this dashboard enables Sarah to actually compare these funnels in a very quick way to see which actually convert better and which actually draw more leads. And you can see on the left here, we have a date range picker, which actually allows to change the period of time we're looking at, along with another filter here, which is the form filter, which allows to actually filter all these subscribers, leads, etc., by their source form. So if they've completed the form, we can then decide to look at only one form and see how these different funnels behave. So this was one of the examples where we were able to just put together next to each other these funnels in a nice and easy way. The next example is about the main pain point that Sarah encountered. She wanted to be able to compare different conversion rates over time in one place. And that was difficult in HubSpot. So we built that report here. You can see each line represents a different custom conversion rate between different lifecycle stages. And it's very easy to see how they compare to each other. The other thing that is nice here is that you can see over time how it actually changes. So we have chosen here a monthly period over the last 6 months, but obviously you could change that as well. And like we did in the other example before, you could add filters to actually filter down by lead source, for example, or by location in the case of work life, or any other type of dimension. So we've seen two different types of visualization, but in the end, this is the end result of a dashboard. So when we put together everything in one dashboard along other data sources, this actually gives you a very nice overview of all the aspects of the business. So in this big dashboard, we have a lot of information. So we have at the top graphs about financial data, how it trends over time, and then we have information about the membership management, and then we have CRM data. This is coming from HubSpot. And then we have location access data to know when people come in or out of the offices. We have customer satisfaction data. So all of that is in one big dashboard. And as you can see here at the top, even though it's very small, this is actually a filter for the location of the different locations of the co-working spaces. So all this dashboard can be filtered down by location. And it's a tool that is used heavily in the company, and which different types of users use in the business. So leadership uses that, and the membership managers use them, and we continuously improve this dashboard together to make it even more accurate all the time, and fine tune the visual representation. So that's the go-to dashboard for everyone in the company now. So these were examples about work life. I wanted to show another customer use case, which is a bit different, and which actually uses other types of features of ClicData. So this company sells B2B software, and they track prospects and deals across multiple countries in the world in various industries, and they deal with large amounts of contacts every month. So what we did with them is this type of graph where we integrated HubSpot data and Excel data. In this case, we're looking at deal counts or MRR. Actually, it's pretty much the same in this case. And we look at that in different period aggregations. Here at the top, we can see we can choose between calendar year or fiscal year. And then again, in these two categories, into weekly or monthly aggregations. Here we have actually the weekly aggregation fiscal year. We can see the red line is actually last year's MRR over time, and the blue line is actually current year. And the green line is the target for current year. This target currently comes from an Excel file, which we integrated with the HubSpot data in one graph. And obviously, this could have been done differently. I've put here a few examples of what we could have done in regards to this target, not taking it from Excel. We could have calculated that as a progression percentage, for example, from previous year. Another idea would be to calculate the forecasting based off the progression so far. So, for example, we could say next week the target should be last week's data plus that amount, that specific amount, or that percentage amount, and in this way create a dynamic target to be reached. So the next example here is a tabular example in which we actually compared how the deals move in various ways. So there could be amount moves, for example. In this first table, you can see that the current value of that deal is 2,000. The previous value is 4,000. So this is a decrease. It was changed on that date. And we have the currency, and we have the corresponding team that handles that deal. And of course, we have the deal owner, etc., which has been blanked out here. So the idea here is to show how these deals move and to allow the sales team to actually understand the upcoming incoming sales and to understand why it may move. And this is a perfect example of data that could trigger an alert. So you could definitely think of rules like, okay, if that close date of specific deals move by more than 30 days, then I want it to be alerted. And you could attach that dashboard in your email, in your alert email. The last example I wanted to show here with this customer is something interesting we built. So they were struggling to understand how different contacts and prospects were actually linked together. They wanted to know how, for each company, who is the actual very first touch point and who is the owner um, on the company side of that deal or that prospect. And in HubSpot, it was difficult to reconciliate and track the very first customer touch by company. So what we did is extract the data from HubSpot into ClicData, and we added rules to define by company who is the actual very first marketing email touch, for example. So we used the email domain actually to compare contacts with each other. And in this way, we actually were able to define the real first sales touch, the real first form submission by company. And these dates were then used to create new contribution channels or to update contact types, for example, customer or prospect to be contacted. That data is then exported back or imported back into HubSpot, and it feeds into custom fields which are used in the pipelines and the automations. So this is a nice example of what you could do without any visualization, actually, but that's also a nice way to use ClicData's capabilities. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to actually connect HubSpot in your ClicData account. So we're going to switch to my browser. Here we go. I hope everyone can see it. So this is a demo account where we have put together different dashboards. This one is a HubSpot lifetime value dashboard. You can see it combines HubSpot data, Xero data. So what we're going to do now is create this connection, and I'm going to show you how to use that in a dashboard. So I'm going here to the tables and views. I'm in my marketing folder here. I'm creating a new connection from here. I'm going to click on this add new button. Here I can see all the connections that have been built already on this account, but I want to create a new one for demo purposes. So here we have all the connectors that are available at ClicData. I'm going to look for the HubSpot connector. Here we go. Just calling it Anna, so I know it's me who actually set it up. I'm going to authorize. This brings me. Sorry, maybe I'm too quick. I think the sharing is a bit lagging. Okay, I think now we're there. We are now at the HubSpot website, and it asked me to connect ClicData to my HubSpot account. So I have just one. I'm going to choose that one. Okay, and now the connection here, as you can see, is authorized, and I can start pulling data from there. So I'm going to click on next, and I can see all the data types and data tables I can actually pull from HubSpot into ClicData. I'm going to choose the deal stages. Click on next. I'm going to call that Anna as well, so I can find it easier later on. And I'm going to pull in the data so we can see here quickly what we're importing. Quick preview. So this is dummy data. So it's just a very small data set here. We can see we have deal ideas, this created stage for each of them, the value of that stage. And clicking on next here will actually import the data. I'm going to run that in background. Okay, it's already done. It's here now. And this data set, I can use that now to use in my dashboards. So switching over to the dashboard side, If I, for example, use this dashboard here, I'm gonna open this dashboard. You can see, you can see here that we have some widgets, some visualization created already. We have visitor counts, social media followers, etc. A lead conversion funnel. So each of these items, we call them widgets, actually show data aggregations. So for example, I could say, well, this one, I'm just gonna create a copy of this, and I'm just gonna push this aside. And this guy here, I'm gonna connect that to the data we just pulled. So this is my widget. That's the source data. I'm gonna fetch my data set here, my deal stages. Select that. And what I want here is count the deal IDs, the distinct deal IDs, because I want to know how many people actually are in the current stage I'm looking for. And I'm going to filter that by the stage name, stage value, sorry. There you go. And I want to see all the people who actually scheduled an appointment. So now I can just fine tune how my widget looks like. Appointments. Here we go. Save. And my widget is now here, ready to be used and to be consumed on the dashboard. So all these widgets work the same way. Based on what widget you look at, you can obviously change the bindings. You can say, for example, here, this funnel, I want to add my organic leads into the mix, save that, save my dashboard, and share it. So that's it for me for today. I'm going to switch back to the presentation and to Ellen.
Very good. Thank you so much, Anna. I forgot to mention something before you started, which is that this webinar is going to be recorded. So if you guys feel like you need to watch some of those steps again, so that you can try it yourself on one of our trial accounts, please feel safe, because we will be sending the replay link to the ones of you that participated today, so you'll have a chance to go through all these different steps again on video. So now is a good time for questions. If you guys have any comments, I see a few questions coming in already. Don't hesitate. It can be a question, it can be some feedback, something you may want to dig deeper into. So I'm gonna start with the first one that I see here on the chat, which is, can I mix HubSpot with some Excel data? Yes, I mean this is one of the cases that we see most frequently, especially because a lot of the budget information is still sometimes stored on Excel. So we have a lot of scenarios and use cases on HubSpot, but other tools as well, where our users are trying to make sense of whether what's happening in the actuals fits with what was planned from a budget standpoint. But rest assured that we can connect with like over 250 different types of data sources. So if it's not Excel, it can be something else. This is one of the benefits of ClicData, really. So no worries with that. I'm looking at more. Yes, there is another one here that's asking whether one can build an unlimited amount of dashboards, or what's the limitation of the amount of dashboards. So it is actually one of the reasons why we have some HubSpot users coming to put their HubSpot data into ClicData. There are no limitations in the amount of dashboards you can build on ClicData. It's actually even one of the parameters that do not exist with us when it comes to picking the right plan. There are other parameters, but this one is not one of them. If I have a data source that isn't on your list of integration, are you open to adding more? Yes, so that's a very good question. So we do push new versions of our ClicData platform on a regular basis, and new connectors is one of the key new features that are pushed on a regular basis. So, and this is definitely 80% of that is motivated by what our customers are asking for. Now, having said that, if you've been on our integration page, you'll see that we have a lot of what we call native connectors. So you'll see HubSpot, you'll see Xero, we have Pipedrive, we have all sorts of different connectors. But you may have a data source that we can integrate for which you don't see the name. And for that, we have sort of the multi connection connectors. Like, let me be a bit clearer. For example, when it's a cloud application that you're trying to integrate, you could use our web service connector, which connects directly to the API of that cloud-based source. And this way you can pull all of the data that's allowed by the API of the source. If it's something that's locally installed, like a locally installed database, for example, you can use our ODBC connector, which means that if you can't, if your format doesn't fit with the SQL connector or the Oracle connector, like we have a bunch of database native connectors, you can use the ODBC and still manage to pull that data. So that's what I mean by 250. It's not just a fancy sales marketing number that I just came up with. This is truly the amount of sources that we can integrate. So we are very rarely in a case that we can't pull the data. So I hope that answers your question there. I see another question about the typical time to deliver this type of dashboards that we've just reviewed here. So this is an interesting question as well, because the time that's required to build this type of dashboards really depends on the type of data that you're trying to integrate. Not so much to make the connection, but especially if you want to do some work on that data before you go and visualize it in a widget. You may want to merge different tables. You may want to add some calculations. Sometimes, if you're mixing data from different shapes and formats, there is a bit of cleansing work as well. So this is what actually takes time. So all I'm trying to say is that while the integration is very smooth, and as you've seen on Anna's demonstration, putting all of that into a graphical manner is also extremely easy. Really, to produce a full dashboard is very dependent on the state of your data on the one hand and what you're trying to measure. I mean, we saw earlier, Anna showed us a dashboard with like a lot of different indicators. This obviously takes more time than a dashboard that only has a few graphs, and both are good. So that's why I don't really have a clear answer on how long does it take. What is sure is that if you don't have an analyst in your team that can help you doing that data work, Anna's team can definitely give you a hand for the first dashboards that you may need. So that's that. I'm looking at the chat. Don't hesitate if you have any last questions that you'd like to ask, or any comments that you'd like to share with the group. I'm just giving it a couple of more minutes. All right. No, I think that's it for now. That was the Q&A slide, which I forgot to display, but we've been through the Q&A, you know. So all that remains is maybe to thank you very much for being with us today and attending our HubSpot webinar, ClicData for HubSpot. I hope we've covered the topics that we were expecting. If you have any additional questions, here are lots of ways to reach us. You can find us under support. You can talk to the sales team. We're also present on the social media, so please stay in touch. And as I said earlier, we'll be more than happy to share the replay of this webinar with you. So thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy your day or the rest of your day, and see you at the next edition.
Bye.
Bye.